What's going on, guys? It is Brian, Alsruhe, neverstate.com, and today I want to talk about getting in the zone or flipping the switch while you're at a competition. Now, before we get too far into this, I'm mainly going to be talking about strongman competitions, but you can apply these same lessons to a powerlift competition, a test, a life, whatever you want to apply it to, you can apply it to. But if you are talking about a strongman competition, I want you to realize a couple things. Number one, no one cares whether you win or lose. So if you're getting super anxious or super nervous about your strongman competition, whether you win or lose or you come in first place or last place, no one really cares. Number two, remember that if you are doing a local strongman competition, most likely you're in a parking lot. Anything that takes place in a parking lot probably isn't going to provide too much glory or humiliation. Now, that might be quite a generalization, but just remember throughout this entire thing that we're talking about in a parking lot. It's like with a fortune cookie. When you read the fortune cookie, then you add that extra line at the end. It's like here. So yeah, you did an absolutely amazing job in a parking lot. Or, man, you completely dropped the ball in that. I feel so humiliated in a parking lot. It's gonna be important to remember. Now, I know a lot of you watching this have never taken part in a strongman competition or a powerlifting competition, or really any type of competition in your adult life. Most people, their competitive career ends in high school. If you're really good, maybe you made it to college. If you were really good in college, maybe you made it to the pros. But as an adult, most people don't spend a whole lot of time competing anymore, and so it brings on a lot of anxiety and a lot of nerves and things like that. So I want to stick this in a relatable context for you guys. Now, every single one of you went to school, every single one of you took tests. Some tests you did really great at, some tests you did not. So if you took a math test and you absolutely aced it, you could have taken 100 more questions of that test and still gotten a perfect score or an A. And then the very next class, maybe you took an English class and you completely bombed it. What suddenly happened? Do you think you have all this innate skill for math and none for reading and that's why it went like that? Or do you think that possibly you got more stupid in the time between classes? What really made that difference? Whether you do really well or really horrible at something almost always has everything to do with your preparation. Maybe you find math interesting, so you did all of your homework, you did the extra studying, you were up late making sure that you knew every single question that could possibly answered on that test. And then when test day came, you walked in with confidence. You said, "Teacher, throw anything you want at me. You can throw anything at me. And I've got it, because I've done the work. I am prepared. I am ready." There are zero nerves. There's more of a feeling of aggressiveness, of attacking that test. You're saying, bring it. Whatever you have, bring it, because I'm ready. I've done the work. I don't care what you throw at me. I'm ready. And then, on the other hand, if you weren't too interested in a subject, typically you walk into that test going, "Oh man, I hope they don't ask about this. I hope they don't ask about that because I don't know the answers to that, or I didn't know that was going to be there." And you don't do well. You don't walk in with confidence. You don't answer with confidence. You do not feel competent in that particular subject. Same thing happens in strongman. You might feel really good about your deadlift event because you're good at deadlifting. You work at the deadlift. Humans naturally move towards things that they're good at. Now, maybe your press event is weak and you knew going into this that it was going to be your worst event, and hopefully you didn't zero it and all these thoughts are going through your head. Trust me, you are going to be 1,000 times more nervous and have more anxiety about the events that you're not going to do well in than the ones that you are going to do well in, because just like the math test, if you have done the preparation and you know that you can hit those contest weights and do really well, then it switches over from, "Oh man, I hope this goes okay," to "Bring it. Let me see what you got. Bring it. I'm going to bring my best game. I want you to bring your best game, and hopefully my best game is a little bit better than yours." And it is almost impossible to flip that switch in any sort of competition, whether it be a strongman competition, a test, or in your occupation. It is almost impossible to flip that switch if you have not prepared. Correct preparation brings confidence, and confidence is the #1 ingredient for being able to flip that switch and get in the zone in competition. So if you did not prepare correctly, you are not gonna be able to do it. I don't care how much pre-workout you take. I don't care what song you put on in your earphones. No matter what goes on, if you did not show up prepared, you are not gonna perform well. You're going to secretly know subconsciously somewhere that you are not gonna perform well, and you're not gonna be able to turn that switch from surviving to performing. Before any sort of competition, people will always tell you good luck, and I'm here to tell you, luck does exist. There is absolutely no doubt about it. There have been times in my life when I should have failed, absolutely should have failed, but I got a little bit lucky and it worked out for me. That said, I get 1,000 times more lucky when I've done the work. Fortune definitely favors the brave, and you can't be brave without the confidence. Like I said, confidence is the #1 ingredient in being able to flip that switch from surviving to performing. So do not take anyone saying good luck. Go out and make your own luck. Your luck starts being built months before the competition in your programming, in your recovery, in your diet, in everything that goes into all those steps leading up to that one culminating event. If you did everything correctly on the way up, Brian Shaw talks about it like taking a test or getting a grade in a class. If you start out with a 100% average, that's where everyone starts out. And let's say you skip a workout, well now you're at a 98. Let's say you chose to go out drinking and partying with your friends instead of getting your sleep so that you can be recovered for a good training session the next Saturday morning. Now you're at a 93%. And then let's say that you did not do some of your preparation or some of your recovery. Now you're at 88%. So the best possible scenario that you can come in at that competition is an 88. That's where you're maxing out. So do everything in your power leading up to the competition so that you can come in at 100% so that you are able to build that confidence, which leads to flipping that switch. Which brings us to dealing with nerves. So as you're leading up to the competition, when you first sign up for the competition months out, you will be very nervous right before you hit send on the entry form. You are going to be like, I don't know, and then you're gonna click send, and then you're gonna feel really good. You're gonna get excited about it. You're gonna be like, there's no turning back now, I'm excited about this. However, commitment is sticking with what you said you'd do once the moment that you set it in has passed you. So you were really excited because you just came off competition or your friends did a competition, you signed up and you're like, yeah, this is gonna happen. But then the reality sets in that there's a lot of work and a lot of preparation that needs to lead into actually getting to your end goal. That's where all of this starts coming into play. But we're gonna go ahead and assume that you did everything correctly leading up to your competition and you came in at 100%. So here it is, the week out from the actual event. You have the last week. I want you to do a couple things. #1 is focus on your deload. Now, how everyone deload is gonna be a little different from individual to individual. I'm gonna do a video about how I personally deload, but you're not gonna have all the time that you would normally be spending in the gym. Now all that is gonna be open and you have this big event looming in your head, and that's gonna drive up your nerves. So I would tell you, you need to focus on your recovery. The time that you would spend in the gym, make sure that you are spending down resting, doing active recovery things like stretching, mobility, lacrosse ball work, foam rolling, ice baths, cryotherapy, getting a massage, doing whatever active recovery things that work best for your body. You need to spend that time that you would normally be spending in the gym, you need to focus it on something, otherwise you are going to drive yourself insane because those nerves are just gonna keep building up and building up. So here you are driving the event and you are super nervous, but there are a couple things coming up that are gonna help take away those nerves and make you feel even more confident so that flipping that switch is going to be an easy thing to do. #1, you're going to have an athletes meeting. So when you're going to the athletes meeting, they typically just cover the events and what they're looking for. So for a lockout on the circus dumbbell, they're gonna be looking for your feet to be even, your elbow completely extended, your hips, knees locked out. They're gonna go over everything. This is the time where if you have any questions at all, you ask them, all right? It gets really annoying at athletes meeting when people keep asking stupid questions that don't make any sense. Don't care. This is about you and your performance. If you're going to be an annoying person, that's the time to be the annoying person. But try not to be that annoying person. But if you do have questions about the event, this is the time to ask them. The more things that you can take away, the more unknowns that you can take away, the more confident that you can be about your performance. You already did the work. You started months ago with your diet and your recovery and your training and your programming, and you've been 100% up to this point. Your preparation is high. You are in a good spot. The last thing that you want to do now is have all that preparation go to waste because you didn't understand a rule and you're mid-contest trying to lock out a circus dumbbell at what you think is lockout, and they're not giving you a down command and you are confused trying to figure it out. That is not going to end well for anybody. So if you do have questions, get rid of that unknown. Find out exactly what they're looking for so that now, once the athletes rule meeting is over, you can start focusing. Okay, I know that I need to have this event first. This is gonna happen. I've done my preparation. I have everything in my kit. My gear is packed. I'm good to go. I know what they're looking for. Let's do this. And then warm-up's gonna start, and that's gonna be a complete cluster. And then the time is gonna come when they call the first athlete up. Now, hopefully, you did not sign up super late so that you don't need to be the first one to go, so you can watch other people and just get a feel for what actually is gonna happen. Pay attention to whether the judge says, competitor ready, set, go, or they say competitor ready, go, or what they do, because that's gonna matter in a timed event. If they're saying competitor ready, set, go, or ready, set, lift, that's gonna be different because you were going on 3 instead of 2 if they said competitor ready, go. For a farmer's walk event, you're talking about a second, and a second is the difference between first place and like 6th place. So you're gonna want to definitely have a good idea of what is happening before that, but if you are the first to go, who cares? You're just gonna set the bar high. But if someone does go before you, pay attention to what is actually happening. But eventually they are gonna call your name up on deck, and all that means that you are the next to go. And as soon as you hear your name called, you are gonna get hit with a wave of ice water. The nerves are gonna show up. You're gonna be watching other people do things, and you're gonna be saying, oh, well, he did that with the keg, or he used straps on that, or he chalked up his chest for that event. Maybe I should be doing that. Why am I not doing that? All these doubts and all these ideas are gonna be coming in your mind. Throw them out. You have a game plan. You need to stick to the game plan. That is where you are going to be the most successful. You cannot flip the switch if you're not confident. You can't be confident if there are unknowns and you're making guesswork 2 minutes out from the start of your event. If you're going, maybe I should change my shoes, maybe I should do this. That's all doubt. Doubt does not breed power or positive aggression. It breeds doubt. It does not make you perform well. So in these situations, I typically try to do things to the event rather than allowing the event to do things to me. So I'll start visualizing the circus dumbbell. Let's just say, for instance, it's a circus dumbbell event. I will start to visualize every single cue that I have, what it's gonna feel like when I'm up there. I'll actually feel the weight in my head. I will make it as real as possible. I'll feel those nerves. I'll hear the judge say, competitor ready, lift, or whatever the case may be. I will go through all of that and make it as real as possible in my head. While I'm doing this, I pace. I cannot stand still at a competition. Whether my nerves are too high or I'm too amped up to go, I am just walking. I pace back and forth, and the entire time you'll see my lips moving because I'm giving myself positive affirmation, and I'm saying things on the lines of, bring it, I'm ready, let's see what I can do here. I'm ready, let's get it on, let's do this, let's just go. Bring it, bring it, bring it, bring it. Sometimes you'll even see me take my hands and do this, and that's just me going, come on, I'm ready. I have prepared a long time for this. Nothing is going to stop me from achieving what I want to achieve, which is performing to the best of my ability. I am like a leash dog, and all you're going to do is take that leash off and release me to do what I've been trained to do. So I walk around and I'm visualizing and I'm talking to myself and I'm getting it as real as possible in my head. If you change your body language while you're doing this, if you walk around like a powerful person, it's just like you guys have all read those things where like executives who like sit like this are more powerful because they are more in like this type of pose, a victory pose. If you walk around, you'll see me going, taking big breaths and reaching my arms up. And that's like my superhero pose. I'm like, it's coming, time is coming, I'm ready to go, let's do this. And then I get in like an aggressive stance and I pace. And I go over it in my head until they say, Brian, you're up. And then I walk directly to that implement like I own it. I own that entire place. All the people are there to watch me. Everyone is competing for second place. I know what I'm going to do. I move towards it like a rabid dog, and I'm not going to let go until the event is done. This is where the switch gets flipped. Now for the remainder of that event, you're probably not gonna remember a whole lot, especially big competitions. If your nerves are high, you are going to be somewhere else. You might remember bits and pieces of the actual 60-second event, or you might remember it in black and white or slow motion, or even just pictures in your head, or blips where you'll remember doing something, but it doesn't make sense sequentially. That's just a normal thing. That's what your brain's doing because you're kicking your sympathetic nervous system. Things are kind of going a little haywire in your brain. Your fight or flight response is going on. And so you start getting patchy with your memory. Don't worry. Hopefully you have somebody there videotaping so you can look back and be like, I remember that part, but I don't remember doing that. I don't know who that guy was. right? That kind of stuff is gonna be really important for your future progress in the sport and analyzing what went well and what didn't for your next competition. Now, this flipping of the switch is also known as getting into the zone. And if you guys want to read more about it, this book is by somebody called Mahalan Ski. Yai, I can't pronounce your name. I am pretty sure you can't pronounce your name, but you did write a good book, so congratulations. But this book, Flow, talks a lot about flow states, hence the name. And this is that state where high performers kind of get into the zone. They don't really need to think about what they're doing because they practice it enough. It just kind of comes out of them, and it seems like they can't miss. You'll hear about people like Michael Jordan shooting free throws and then being so in the zone that he closed his eyes and shot free throws, yeah. All of us at some point in our lives have been in a flow state, but for most of us, it wasn't in a high competitive environment like Michael Jordan. It was when you were driving in your car from your house to work. You've all been there. You drive straight to work. You don't get lost. You don't make bad turns. You don't crash in the car behind you. You probably were talking on your phone or listening to radio or doing whatever you do, and you don't remember any of the drive. You didn't need to think about the drive. You were just simply following the path that you've done time and time and time again. You had the confidence enough that you knew that when you started your car, you were gonna show up at work a half an hour later, and you didn't need to think about what color the car was in front of you or what the license plate was or anything like that. If you don't know where you're going and you're constantly checking your GPS or looking at road signs or whatever, that is a much more stressful thing, and it typically doesn't go as well for people. So the entire idea is to take the months prior to the competition and get so good at these events. Run these events time and time and time again. Do your cues every single day mindfully. Write them down, stick them in your bag, make sure you have your kit. Take away all the unknowns so that when you show up on competition day, literally you are just unleashing yourself to go into that flow state where you won't remember everything, but you don't need to be thinking about your perfect cues of hip out, dumbbell and shoulder, drive with your legs, It's just going to happen because you've done the work. You did your homework. It's test day. It doesn't matter what they throw at you or what implement or anything. None of that matters. You are prepared. That is getting into a flow state. That is flipping the switch. If you are prepared and you have the confidence and you have the courage to get out there and step up on the platform, you are going to come through. The final note that I want to make about this is once you flip that switch and you have done the event, you need to be able to turn it back off, because if you stay redlined way up here, you are not going to last for a 5-hour event or a 12-hour event. You are not going to be there by the end. So once that switch gets flipped on, as soon as that event is over, that switch gets flipped back off and you become a normal individual again, capable of having fun conversations in society and just chilling out until it is time to start getting prepared to flip that switch again. You're gonna have to do this multiple times throughout the day. Now, a lot of people will do this using things like pre-workout or caffeine, which is completely fine if that is your thing. The only thing that I will tell you is if you are used to taking one serving of pre-workout at the beginning of your workout and you do an 1.5 hour long workout and then you're done, do not take 3 servings before every single event. So before event 1, I take a pre-workout. Before event 2, I take a pre-workout. Before event 3, I take a pre-workout. Your heart is going to explode. You do not introduce new things on contest day or anywhere near contest day. When you are a week out, you are not trying a new type of diet or a new type of water cut. You are sticking to knowns. The less unknowns you have, the more confidence you have going into that, and you do not want to be at event 3 out of 5 in a strongman competition so hyped up like you're a meth addict that you can't perform, or you're shaking, or you're getting nauseous, or you're worried that your heart's gonna explode. That is not a ticket for success. Also, a lot of people will use music to amp themselves up, and I think that's completely fine if that works for you. It does not work for me. Just don't allow it to become a crutch, because a lot of times at competition, since you're in a parking lot, there isn't going to be music. And if there is music, it's not gonna be loud, and it's not gonna be the music that you wanted anyway. So you need to learn how to train without that stimuli, because as you get into bigger and bigger shows, they're not gonna allow you to have earbuds in when you're going, or you're not gonna want earbuds in because you're gonna have to hear what the judge has to say. There's a lot of things that are going to be taking place, and the more crutches that you can remove, the better off you're going to be come game day, because trust me, everything that can go wrong will go wrong. An event is going to change. Something is not going to be the right weight. Contests never go as advertised, and you need to be able to adapt and overcome on the fly, and you're not going to be able to do that if you have these crutches that you know you cannot squat without your knee sleeves. If you know that and you forgot your knee sleeves, what now? Are you not going to squat? Like, you need to remove as much of those unknowns and uncontrollables as possible. You need to rely on your preparation, because doubt disappears when you are well prepared. And again, this starts months out. You're doing the events, your programming, your recovery, everything from your deload to the stuff that you do when you are on deck right before you go. All of that is gonna matter. It's all gonna come down to that one moment, whether you can flip that switch or not. And trust me, you are not gonna be able to flip the switch if you don't have confidence. And confidence is built in the hours and the days and the weeks and the months prior to this moment. This moment is a defining culmination of everything that you just did for months. Do not waste this moment or say, oh, I was unlucky, or I didn't do well, or whatever, because you did not prepare. I have been there more times than I'd like to admit. I was there at Nationals this year. I did not prepare correctly, and look where that got me. For this contest, I prepared, and look where it got me. But it all starts months away, leading all the way up, so that you have that confidence. You built that confidence to flip that switch, perform the best of your ability, and walk away with the best performance that you could possibly have put out. Anyway guys, that's all I got. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you do want to pick up one of the Rise shirts, we are running out quickly. I would guess we're probably gonna be out by the end of the month. I will let you guys know when there's about 50 left, but we are down, it's dwindling. So if you do want a Rise t-shirt, I'll leave that link in the description down below if you want to pick one up. I thank you so much to all of you who have been wearing them and sending me pictures and representing. That is so amazing. I'm so happy about it, guys. I look forward to hearing about how you guys help prepare for your competitions, or how your first competition goes, or how your 100th competition goes. And I would like to learn from you guys. Hopefully you guys learn from this. I thank you so much for watching. Until I see you later in the week, go out, do something amazing, realize, keep working hard, people. Be nice to each other, get prepared, and I'll see you then.